What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Anthony.
What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Anthony.
What is your name, please?
My name is Pat Anthony.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one of them is the real Pat Anthony, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. And here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you, and good evening. As I'm sure you are well aware by now, this is a game of deliberate misrepresentation, wherein four presumably smart people try to figure out which one of three challengers has sworn to tell the truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you each week at this time by the makers of Geritol, America's #1 tonic, the high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast. Right now, let's meet our cross-examiners. What is your name, please?
My name is Polly Bergen.
My name is Ralph Bellamy.
My name is Kitty Carlisle.
And my name is Hy God.
Now, these three people all claim to be Pat Anthony. Only one, of course, is the real Pat Anthony. The other two have assumed that identity, and they do not have to stick to the truth. So, panel, in front of you right now, there is a copy of an affidavit. Will you please listen while I read it? I, Pat Anthony, am a professional lion trainer, currently on tour with the Hamid Morton Shrine Circus. After 2 years of military service, I took an extensive course of instruction in animal training. At one point in my career, I appeared in a movie as a double for a well-known film star during an animal scene shot on location. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Pat Anthony. Now, we'll get along with our game in just... All right, time now to play our game, panel. These three people all claim to be Pat Anthony, lion trainer. Now, remember, only the real Pat Anthony is required to answer your questions truthfully. You will each question until you hear this signal, and after the questioning period, you will be asked to cast your vote for the one person who, in your opinion, is the real Pat Anthony. And we'll begin this first round tonight with Ralph Bellamy. Ralph?
Well, number two, your affidavit says you're a lion tamer, and then you went into military service, and then you came out and took an extensive course of instruction in animal training. Why? Did the Army soften or toughen you?
Well, let's just say it changed my viewpoints on my future.
Changed your viewpoint?
That's right.
At what studio were you a double?
Different studios.
Different studios. Number one, at what studio were you a double?
MGM.
MGM. What picture did you double in?
The picture was White Witch Doctor.
What was the name of it?
White Witch Doctor.
White Witch Doctor.
White Witch Doctor. And who was the star you doubled?
The star was Susan Hayward.
Susan Hayward.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number two, you said you went to animal training school. What did it cost you?
Didn't cost me anything. I went under the government on the GI Bill of Rights.
At animal training school, do they use real lions or dummies?
I imagine they use real lions.
You imagine?
Yeah,
They didn't tell you?
not till a little later.
When you go into an animal's cage, number three, like a lion's cage, is it important, is your attitude important, or are the implements important? Is it more important, your attitude, your eyes, to show the animal you're not afraid, or what you carry with you?
It's your attitude that is the most important. Your voice is very, very important. If you use a loud voice, you may frighten the animal. That is of the utmost importance, more so than any implement that you use.
Hy Gardner.
When you talked about attitude number three, do you mean when you walk into the ring or after you leave? Number one, what do you feed your lions?
Well, we used to feed them horse meat until it got too expensive. Now we feed them beef.
Now you feed them other lions.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, how recently did your circus, the one that you're with now, the Hamid Morton Shrine Circus, how recently did you play Chicago?
Oh,
Or within the year.
Within the year.
That's right.
Number 2, do you use blanks or real bullets in the guns when you enter a cage with lions?
Blanks.
Number 3, were you ever on What's My Lion? Oh, I'm sorry.
Bell came just in time.
No, it didn't come soon enough.
I'll ring it faster next time. Polly Bergen.
I have to get over that last one. Number 3, where do you get your lions?
Where do I get my lines?
Uh-huh.
From the zoo surplus. You know, like the Army surplus? That's right, like the Army.
Number 3, could you tell me what a Quatamundi is?
Was that number 3 you said?
Yes, number 3.
Yes.
Would you repeat that again?
What is a Quatamundi? Number 1, what is a Quatamundi?
I'm sorry, I never heard of that.
Number 2, could you tell me what a Quatamundi is?
I think you mean a coatimundi, and that's a fur-bearing animal, something like our native raccoon.
All right, time to vote. For a minute, I thought Quatamundi was the name of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I guess it is.
This is going to be a bad evening.
Time to vote now, panel. Without any consultation, will you mark your ballots and select number 1, number 2, or number 3? Now, may I remind you that the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote, which means if they fool the entire panel, they may well divide from Geritol $1,000. All right, panel, have you marked your ballots?
Yeah.
I'll call on you first, Polly. All set? Okay, for whom did you vote?
For number 2.
You voted for number 2. What was your reason?
Well, up until the last question, I thought it was number 1, and I still am fairly sure it is. But still, I felt that number 1 should have known what a Coatimundi is, and number 2 did know the answer.
Ralph?
Number 2.
And what was your reason, Ralph?
Well, I had somewhat the same misgivings that Polly did, but as number 2 came down the steps to take his seat there, I thought he wore his accoutrement a little bit more handily than the other 2, and seemed to be, although he did, if I'm right, he ducked a little bit.
He wore his Coatimundi better than the other. Kitty Carlisle, how about you?
Number 1.
And why did you vote for number 1, Kitty?
Because I'm a feminist and I like to see women invade men's precincts.
And hi, Gardner?
Well, I voted for number 3.
Uh-huh.
Number 1 didn't look like a lion tamer. Number 2 looked like somebody I saw as one of the Muscle Boys with Mae West. And since they always said the best way to tame a cat is with another cat and blonde's a catty, I picked 3.
Well, all right, the votes are all in. I hope your minds are made up, too, and if they are, don't change them. Play along with us now and have fun as we find out which one of these people is the really honest lion trainer. Will the real Pat Anthony please stand? Oh, boy, we thank you, sir. And number 1, would you mind telling us who you really are and what you really do?
My name is Jean Boyce. I'm an instrument flight instructor for Meteor Flight School at Teterboro, New York, Teterboro Airport.
And number 3, how about you?
My name is Rosemary Canavan Grasso, and I'm a violinist at the Roxy Theater, New York.
You see, music has charms to soothe the savage lions as well. Well, we thank you. Now, let's see, challengers. There were exactly 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol for you to divide. Hope you had fun. We had fun having you here. Good night and good luck. And now let's have our next team of challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is Frank McRobb.
What is your name, please?
My name is Frank McRobb.
What is your name, please?
My name is Frank McRobb.
Now, panel, will you follow along on your copy of this affidavit? I, Frank McRobb, am a bachelor, About 25 years ago, I served as a footman for the Princess Royal of England. While in her service, I began my lifetime career as a butler. I was a butler for Douglas Fairbanks Sr. and his wife, Lady Ashley, until I left to serve in the British Armed Forces. Since then, I have been a butler for the DuPont family, the Vanderbilt family, and the Rockefeller family. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, Frank McRobb. And we'll put our panel to work for you again in just again to play our game. Now, again, panel, may I tell you that these three people all claim to be Frank McRobb, butler. Remember, only the real Frank McRobb is sworn to answer your questions truthfully. Let's start this round with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Number 1, what are the duties of a butler?
Well, they are varied, ma'am. You're in charge of the inside of the house. That is, that you control the kitchen, the pantry, the inside servants. If there isn't a housekeeper, you would take charge of the maids. You attend your master.
Very pleasant. What are the duties of a footman in the royal family of England, number 2?
The footman answers the door. He's generally within reach of the front of the house. And when members of the family go out, he attends them. He has a uniform and he sits on the front of a carriage in the old days or a car.
Number 3, who buttles for the butler at mealtime in a large household?
Well, that could be the hall boy in a large establishment.
Hi, Gardner.
Number 3, can you tell me who Lady Ashley married after Mr. Fairbanks passed away?
Lord Stanley.
Number 2, can you tell me Lady Ashley's first name? Number 1, can you...
Sylvia.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Number 1, in what city did you work for the DuPonts?
Wilmington, Delaware.
Number 2, did you ever go to the annual Butler's Ball?
No.
Number...
Sorry, hi, Polly Bergen.
Gee, I just took one of my questions. Makes it very difficult. Number 3, as a butler, you are a bachelor, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you find it better to be a butler as a bachelor?
Much better.
Why?
I think everybody should be a bachelor.
Oh, I don't know. I know a few people who might argue with you. Let's see. Number 1. Could you tell me where Winthrop Rockefeller makes his home today?
Washington, D.C. and Florida.
Ralph Bellamy.
Number 2, how long have you been married?
I haven't been married. Not yet.
It says in your affidavit that you have buttled for, since the war, the DuPont family, the Vanderbilt family, and the Rockefeller family. Why can't you hold your job?
Well, sir, I get tired of them and they get tired of me.
Number 3, who is the most prominent English-speaking butler in moving pictures, would you say?
Oh, Arthur Treacher.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2. Oh, I've made up my mind. It's a terrible thing. I shouldn't ask the question.
Well, all right. Time now to vote. So there you are. You stalled just long enough. Again, with no consultation, panel, will you please mark your ballots? And select number 1, number 2, or number 3. Have you marked your ballots, panel? Polly, for whom are you voting? Let me put it that way.
Number 1.
What's your reason, Polly?
Because I don't have any idea which one it is. I really don't. I thought it was number 2, and then I was sure it was number 3, and now I'm positive it's number 1. So I just thought I'd write down number 1 and see how my hunches went.
All right, good hunch. Let's see what happens now with Ralph Bellamy. For whom did you vote?
Number 1. I thought number 1 was a little more glib and ready with the information.
Kitty?
Number 2.
First break in the ice. Yeah, what was your reason?
Because I think that's the absolute reason that people change positions. They get tired of us and we get tired of them.
And Hi Gardner?
I voted for number 2 for several reasons. First, because I guess that was the last reason.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Ring that bell. First, because he knew Sylvia, the name Sylvia, and secondly, because they always say that in any detective mystery, the butler did it, and he looks like the kind of a guy who could do it.
All right, let's see how well our panel did it now and how well you did it at home. Who done it? We'll find out right now and see which one of these three very distinguished gentlemen is the real butler. So will the real Frank McRobb please stand up? Well, I tell you, that's where fact went against fiction, didn't it? Mr. McGraw, may I ask you something? You have worked, as they all commented, with so many distinguished families. By whom are you presently employed?
I'm the butler host at Dania Highlight Palace in Florida.
At the Highlight Palace in Florida?
Yes, sir.
You're the butler host there?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a switch, isn't it? Number 1, would you tell us who you really are?
My name is George Dickey Collis. I'm in charge of the advertising and publicity for British and Irish Railways in North America.
Number 2, what about you, sir?
My name is Piers H. Powell. I'm the New York correspondent of a London paper, The Star.
As you can see, gentlemen, you did mighty well. There were 4 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $1,000 for you to divide from Geritol. Thank you very much for being with us. Good night and good luck to you all. And now let's have our next team of challengers, please.
What is your name, please?
My name is John J. Anthony.
What is your name, please?
My name is John J. Anthony.
What is your name, please?
My name is John J. Anthony.
Now, panel, will you follow along with the copy of the affidavit in front of you now? I, John J. Anthony, am the author of many books and articles on the subject of human relations. I have created and marketed 2 inventions. As a pioneer of early radio, I have been broadcasting for the past 27 years, during which time I have also been conducting a marriage counseling service. I have given counsel to tens of thousands of people on my radio programs, The Goodwill Hour and The John J. Anthony Hour. I swear that the above statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Signed, John J. Anthony. Now, we start our cross-examination here in just... All right, panel, these 3 people all claim to be John J. Anthony, veteran radio personality. Now, again, question till you hear the signal. We'll start this time with Polly Bergen. Polly?
Number 1, the first contestant tonight had a name, Pat Anthony. Is it true you have a lion trainer in your family?
It could be, but my wife is... Well, I'd better not say it.
Number 2, what did you do before you went into radio?
I was a writer.
Number 3, what did you do before you went into radio?
I wrote and lectured.
Number 1, what did you do?
I was a lawyer.
Number 3, were you ever called Dr. Anthony?
Well, people have called me doctor, yes.
Ralph Bellamy.
Number 1, is your program currently on the air?
Yes, it is.
Would you say, Madam, what is your problem?
Madam, what is your problem?
Number 2, will you say it?
Yes, I would.
I think Mr. Bellamy would like to hear you say it.
Madam, what is your problem, please?
And number 3, will you say it, please?
Of course. Madam, what is your problem, please?
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, do you ever have any self-doubts about the efficacy of your advice?
Never.
Number 3, do the people whom you advise ever come and tell you how your advice came out?
Oh, yes, repeatedly. And it's very gratifying to hear the results.
No.
You laughed your way out of that one. Hi, Gardner.
Bud, or I should say, Mr. Anthony, I'm afraid I've got a problem. I know Mr. Anthony. I think at one time I consulted him about a marriage problem. But I know him, and I think that I ought to disqualify myself.
Oh, very well. Hi. And that means, of course, there's all automatically $250 sitting there waiting for you. So let's skip back to Polly Bergen. Polly?
Gee, I wish I could say that. Number 2, what radio station did your program originate on?
WMCA.
WMCA. Number 1, where did your show originate?
Pardon?
Where did your radio show originate? What station?
From WMCA.
Number 3.
Actually, before WMCA, I was on in Jamaica, Long Island. The station is not here any longer. WJAM.
That's it. Time to vote, panel. I see some eager thoughts flashing across minds there. Will you please mark your ballots?
Hi, who is it?
For no consultation. Mark
Fellow with
for
the glasses.
Mark for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All right, panel, you all ready? Polly, what is your vote?
I voted for number 2.
Why?
Well, he seemed a little reticent about saying, Madam, what is your problem? Also, Ralph just asked him to say, Madam, what is your problem? He said, Madam, what is your problem, please, which Anthony always said, I think.
He was politer. Ralph Bellamy, your vote was?
Number 2, and the very same reason. He did it correctly.
Kitty?
Number 2.
And why?
Because he seemed to have the authority of a man who gives advice to a lot of people all the time.
Well, there we have it then. 3 votes for number 2, and I don't know how you folks have voted out there or at home. But see now, don't change your votes. We'll find out now who was the famous personality of radio, John J. Anthony. Will the real John J. Anthony please stand? Should give you a deal of satisfaction, the fact that you were on almost entirely in radio and still they know you.
Cost me $1,000.
It did that, but there was a free $250 thrown in there by High disqualifying himself. Number 1, would you tell us, sir, who you really are and what you do?
My name is Albert Groby, and I'm production manager of radio station WQXR here in New York City.
And last, but by no means least, number 3. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Henry Boyd, and I'm a lecturer on the wild songbirds of America.
Just for the fun, in case you think he's fooling, panel, why, give us a little sample, will you,
Why,
Henry?
of course.
How about that, huh? That's something to fade out on, isn't it? So thanks to High Gardner, we salvaged $250 of you gentlemen from Geritol. Thanks for being with us. We enjoyed it and hope you did. Good night and good luck. Well, unfortunately, it's gone fast as always when we have a good time, and that's all we have time for tonight. So good night, panel.
Good night, Bud.
Good night. And until next week, this is Bud Collier reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
Travel arrangements for To Tell the Truth are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships. To Tell the Truth is the Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network.